when you work in industry, you need to understand what good looks like and what great looks like. You can't just be a junior recruiter and walk into an industry and expect to know it through and through. A lot of people will over-embellish themselves and their profiles for that matter. And I find it happens quite a lot in cyber, funny enough. I think the over-embellishment factor is there. But I also think cybersecurity engineers, specialists are taught like not to have a lot of trust in certain things. So they think a lot of things are phishing or maybe like threat intelligence.
Yeah.
It's a very big thing. Like they will do a lot more due diligence on the recruiter that they're dealing with from a like, are you what you say you are perspective? Do you actually understand me? Do you understand my industry? So you need to be a lot more knowledgeable as a recruiter and understand your client and be able to package that in the right way for a cybersecurity individual. And you need to give them an opportunity for them to explain what they do best, because cybersecurity, I think, is an area that hasn't been compartmentalized enough. It's very
It's
broad.
Hey, I appreciate you listening to the talk I had with Storm. She's an experienced recruiter with over 14 years of servitude across many industries. She does this new weird thing that's called relationship recruitment. Yeah, I know that you may not have heard about it, but it's this thing where she tries to get a relationship with clients and candidate and understand what's best for them, instead of following what's best for her and just, placing people left and right where it may not be the best for the candidates and for the clients. Other than that, we talk about that our industry is in service of other people, really, and the result of our process is changing the lives of the people, and let's hope we change them for the better. We talk about why it's important to find your why in this industry, because it helps you push through the restless nights and work on weekends. And we talk about other things as well, and I hope that you'll find something for you, and I hope that you enjoy this. Let me know. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to episode number 6. Today we have Storm, not Amy, but Storm, because my bad, I mispronounced her name so badly. It was something else. Storm is director of recruitment with Sataya. Hi, Storm. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks. How are you?
Okay, I'm doing good myself. So we've been talking a little bit before. We covered a few topics before we went on the big screen. And before I jump into all my questions, we were talking about the calling, the purpose, the passion, the why you do something, why you're doing. Storm, can I ask you, why are you into recruitment? Why are you here and not somewhere else?
Recruitment found me, and I think in finding me, it found my passion and my purpose. I really love networking with people, speaking to people, getting to understand what makes people tick and what drives people. And then I found that it is a really good knack in aligning that with what makes companies tick and what they want from their people, and just really creating big businesses along the way. I've been really fortunate to work with some awesome people in my career, and I think those meetings and the genuine conversations has kept me in this game for a lot longer than a lot of other people. So that's my why, the connecting the dots between two people, building relationships, changing people's lives. I think there's a lot of people that we've assisted getting a new career or a new opportunity that they've cried on the phone when we've given them an offer. And I've had somebody faint once.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so you really impact like an entire family, not just the person itself, when you help them find a career opportunity. And then from a business perspective, I've placed people from entry level all the way up to CTO, and that has changed the landscape of businesses around the
Mm,
world. And I think
mm.
that's really awesome to say at the end of the day.
Y-
That's a
y-
cool accomplishment to have.
I think it's pretty cool that you can you know, help the companies get paid for it and change people's life in process. You know, I think it's really cool. Yeah. Uh, but it wasn't always that you've been working in recruitment. I've dug through your LinkedIn page and I noticed that actually were both we were both working at restaurant at one point in our lives. Uh, is there anything that you learned there that you are still using up until this day?
So I think the restaurant industry teaches you to have grit, um, and a lot about customer service, in my opinion. I've started in the restaurant industry from very young and
Mm.
learned to work really, really hard to make tips or whatever extra money that you make as a waiter or waitress for extra, like,
Right.
money to go out or to buy certain things. So you
Mm.
learn there's a good correlation between hard work pays off in the restaurant industry itself. And you learn a lot about customer service and how to
Mm.
deliver that service in such a way that pays off as well. So, I mean, if you give really bad service to a table, you're not going to get a great tip at the end of the day. But if you
Mm.
give somebody an experience and you make them feel welcome, they're going to come back and they're going to ask for you, and the tips are going to get more, or they're going to tell people that you need to go see Storm. She's going to look after you at this restaurant. She's going to find you the best table, give you the best service. So I think
Yeah.
it's about an experience. People don't go for a restaurant just for food, they also go for an experience.
Yes, this is very, very important thing to understand. And actually, I did understand it now that I go into restaurants. When I was 21, 22, I was one among the best waiters. I mean, one among the ones that, got the highest tips. I averaged 6 to 7%. Do you remember your score? How much tips did you got?
I don't know by percentage, but I used to
Mm.
make a lot of money. I put myself through most of university just through my tips. Um, it's honest, right? I don't have student loan debt. I had tips.
Mm.
um, but I think the experience factor is important. People buy from people they like, and that correlates really well in recruitment. You give somebody
Mm.
an experience as well. And experience is about service again, about having your ducks in a row, making sure that the timing of things coming to the table or in recruitment is correct, controlling the fact that the food actually is like, the right food they order,
Mm.
drinks, the right drinks they ordered, they show up quick. So it's about delivery as well.
It is. So all of those parts are also in recruitment.
I think
Well,
so. I think whatever you do when you're young shapes you. Work ethic. I think it's work ethic that's really important there. That solidified it for me. I don't
mhm.
think the much more than just work ethic and grit at the end of the day. And even like getting up, dressing up, and showing up, waitressing, being in the restaurant industry, it's a tough.
Stuff, true.
It is tough, and I think sometimes your customers have a bad day and they can take it out on you really, really quickly. So it helps you deal with those kind of uncomfortable
Mm.
conversations and moments and try fix it. So yeah, none of that can be bad in general.
Mm, okay. I still remember one customer taking it out on me, and I was talking to my manager, and actually there was another customer with his little child, uh, and this father was talking to his son, and he was saying, "Look, sometimes in life you've got situations like that, and it just happens to you." And after that, he gave me a 20. So I appreciated that, Yeah, so I guess it's also experience for the guests sometimes. Uh,
Absolutely, yeah.
after the restaurant business, you've got into recruitment. Currently, you're in England,
That's
but you
correct.
started your recruitment journey in, well, South Africa.
Yes.
So the first question that comes to my mind: what's different? What's the same? What's shocking? And what's normal across the world?
Well, I haven't only done recruitment in South Africa and the UK. I've actually worked in quite a few different markets, and each market has its nuance. And I
Mm.
think the big thing is like no market is the same, and no recruitment that you do in each market and each
Mm-hmm.
discipline in that market is the same. So South Africa compared to, for instance, the United Kingdom is extremely different. You're dealing with a completely different culture.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and in the culture side of things, there's a way to speak to people, and there's a way to handle certain conversations and understand what their motivating factors are to looking at leaving. There's also a different game that's happening in the
Oh.
SA market at the moment, and that's like counter offers are rife, especially in the tech side of things. Um,
Mm.
7 out of 7 offers you get end up in a counter
Really?
offer. Yes, definitely. There's a massive skills shortage in the South African market at the moment. It's booming from a recruitment perspective. And they have different areas that you need to focus on. So when you're speaking to a candidate, for instance, your counter offer conversations and you're actually getting down to the wound and why somebody's looking to leave is
Mm.
very different than what you would do here in the United Kingdom. And
Mm.
again, is different to the USA. So you need to understand the playing field that you're operating in and what drives those people.
Mm.
And the only way you can do that is by having really genuine conversations with candidates, right? So it's about getting to know people and understanding what makes them tick, what's their reason for leaving, and what they've seen in the market and what they've experienced in the past, and getting them to have enough trust in you to share those experiences in a very transparent and honest way that you
Mm.
can learn and take those learnings to the next person that you speak to.
So the way for you to understand what makes them tick is to trust them, be transparent with them, and have an honest conversation, right?
100%. So
100%.
I think every candidate that I speak to, and I think it's like you can speak to any person that I've had a conversation with. I call a spade from day one. My goal is not about me making a placement. It's about me helping them get their next step. I think a lot of problems in recruitment is it's become very transactional, and it's all about my want and not the want of a candidate and a client coming together. So when you're speaking to somebody in a new market, it's really trying to understand like what do they want to get out of their next role? Like why are they looking to leave? What is missing currently and how have they tried to solve that? You will understand a lot about a person if you understand what they're currently sitting in terms of their workspace, their home life, what's motivating them to make a move. There's 4 hardest things to do in life as a person. One of those is changing jobs. That's one of
Mm.
the hardest things because you're leaving
Mm.
people and a company that you've spent over 8 hours a day, which is longer than you've had at home. And that can be,
Unfortunately.
exactly. And that can be really scary for a lot of people because you get that devil you know, devil you don't mentality. Like, if I leave, I don't know these people. Am I going to pass probation? Is this the career move that's going to be great for me? So it's a very scary journey to go on. And if you're not
Mm.
holding their hand in this, whether they're entry level graduate all the way up to a CTO, you're not on the right path to helping them achieve what they need to achieve. You cannot
Mm.
want this placement more than them. They need to want it, and you need to help them along the way. So I think in each market, every person has a different drive. So like South African market is very driven by skills and it's driven by money because cost of living is really expensive there, and South African rand doesn't go as far as, for instance, the pound.
Mm.
Whereas in the UK, it's mainly more driven by longevity and skills and gaining challenges and experience.
I think this will be our highlight moment instead of the other one that I talked
Okay.
at the beginning.
You can pick whichever highlight moment you prefer,
And now you can choose if we go with tough question or easy question.
whichever one. I'm
Uh,
ready
we'll
for
go,
any.
we'll go with tough one
Okay.
because you started by telling me that you need to ask candidate what's next they want in life. You need to ask them what's their current situation and what they want to get out of the next job. Say you can't fill a role, you can't make a placement because there is not enough qualified people on the market. Now you find one that has the technical skills, but when you talk with them, you understand maybe they'll be all right for a year maybe half, 1.5 max, and you know that the client isn't really looking for someone like it, what do you do then?
So a lot of the talent, like maybe we should backtrack this 2 steps. So you get
Hi.
3 types of talent in the market. You get active talent. Those are the people actively applying for jobs. There's very big burn to move. You get passive talent. That means they're open to a new role, but it has to be the right role. So they have a very
Mm-hmm.
stringent or strict list of what they would actually resign for. And then you get not active talent. So
Not active.
that is the person, and that's the smallest portion of the market. I would say there's like 6 to 8% of the
Mm.
market, the biggest portion of the market being passive. If you're dealing with somebody who is actually not looking to leave at all, they'll never make a move, and you can pick that up through the wound. They're really happy. They don't want to speak to you. They don't want to know if their favorite company is recruiting. They don't care if you get them 100% increase. Then you
Yeah.
walk away. If they're
Mm.
the definite, I am happy, I'm not on the market, I won't make a move at all at the moment. But if they're
Okay.
passive and there's a carrot that is being dangled that could make them want something different or something more, you need to really make sure that your client can offer that and vice versa. Again, remember, this is not a transactional relationship. This is
Mm.
something that you need to make sure that you're doing right by the company as well as the candidate. There has to be a really good balance in that, because you're only as good as your last placement within a business. If you're making a placement just
Mm.
for the transaction of things, you're not a good talent partner.
Yeah.
You're not there for the longevity of the company itself. Um, so I think having an honest, transparent conversation, like, is this a stopgap for you? If it is, maybe we should look at something that you feel like there could be lots more longevity. And
Mm.
if there's no other candidate on the market, it's also about being honest with the client. Listen, I'm going to be real with you. I don't know if this person is going to stay with your business for the next 3 to 5 years. And if you do decide to go down this road, we need to build a backup plan for when that does happen. So maybe
Mm.
it's a great thing to bring this person on board for the 1.5 or 2 years that they're willing to commit to you, but hire somebody a little bit more junior with less skills and get them to be trained up as their protege, so that when they do move on, you've got the backup plan already in play.
Actually, I love your transparency and the fact that because you're transparent, then you can propose your problem-solving skills. I actually love it, so you know.
It's about being a talent partner at the end of the day. It's not about, you're not just there to make a placement. Yes, a client needs a role to be filled, but you need
Mhm.
to show that you are looking after their business as well. There's a lot of different solutions that you can bring to the table to a client based on your skills and your experience and the understanding that you have about a candidate. And if you're not being transparent on all fronts, somewhere along the line, the placement's going to
Mm.
blow up and you might blow up with it.
I would say that. Uh, yeah, if you don't do good by client, why should they even hire you?
Karma is
Uh,
important.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Karma. You need to have good karma when you make placements.
Mm. And I think that you do have a good comma, a good palma, because in your LinkedIn profile it says 93%, and this figure is about recurring or returning business. Uh, do I? So how should we understand this figure? What's behind it?
So some people work with recruiters on a once-off basis, and
Hmm.
some people work with recruiters on a once-off basis and then like what they do and then continue to work with them. In some markets, 93% is not so phenomenal. In other markets, it's great. It used to be higher at 98%. Um, but I think a lot of the business that we've done recently has been more based on startups or once-offs, and they're not ready yet to do more business
Mm,
as of
okay.
yet. So we're helping smaller businesses as well as bigger businesses grow. Um, so yeah, so how we've taken that is based on all the clients that we've dealt with and how much repeat business that they've given us and how much of their business they've given us.
Okay. So it's a combination of. Uh, so it's a combination of. I'm trying to get my head around because that there are three things in this equation. So one is the amount of one-off businesses,
Correct.
then it's amount of recurring businesses multiplied by amount of transactions you've
Correct.
made
Yes.
for them. Well,
So some
transactions, highs,
clients,
placements, relationships.
exactly. So some clients will only give you, for instance, their tech work. So you are my
Yeah.
cybersecurity recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of recruitment companies who focus on what they call that inch wide, mile deep. Like I only focus on cybersecurity. And I've been doing a similar model, which is more inch wide, mile deep into tech and not just everything else. Sataya
Mm-hmm.
doesn't focus on that. So we pretty much do anything, but we play really open cards in terms of this is not our forte, but we headhunt really, really well. Um,
Mm,
so we want to see kind of what roles you have. Let's say you got 10 roles within the company at the moment. How many of those will you give us a look into? How many can we commit a shortlist to? So we won't
mhm.
overpromise and underperform. We'd rather
Nice.
underpromise and overperform at the end of the day. It's important.
Mm,
Um, and then we see like how much of your recruitment budget per year you're spending with us.
mm. You just hate to see people over-promising and underperforming, don't you? At least I know I do. I try not to do that. What I do is I hire in cybersecurity, and if you know a company that has a recruitment budget, that's very important, and that needs somebody hired, someone placed in cybersecurity role, then let them know about me. If you do, and we make a successful business, and they are happy, I'm going to reward you with 1,000 euros. So, just go to goodtobe.eu/reward. The link will be in the description to check the terms and conditions. That's it from me. Bye.
So it's a correlation between all of that and how long we
Okay.
stay in a relationship with you.
Okay. So you specifically focus on tech. Sataya isn't only IT driven. It's not only let's say engineers or cybersecurity. And you and Sataya, you have opportunity to go around many industries in your recruitment career. And
Correct.
obviously, I'm in cybersecurity, so uh, if I have this chance, I will not blow it. You had opportunity to recruit in many industries, cybersecurity among them. Is there something distinct for us cyber guys, or are we just like everybody else? And don't feel sorry, I presented this question in the wrong way. Don't feel pressure
Yes.
to say we're special, but if you see something, do let know, do tell.
I think this goes on my previous point, like every industry has its nuance, or every country, also same with industries. Cybersecurity is its own beast at the end of the day. And when you work in any industry, yeah, absolutely. When you work in industry, you need to understand what good looks like and what great looks like. You can't just be a junior recruiter and walk into an industry and expect to know it through and through. A lot of people will over embellish themselves and their profiles for that matter. And I find it happens quite a lot in cyber, funny enough. I think the over embellishment factor is there. But I also think cybersecurity engineers, specialists are taught like not to have a lot of trust in certain things. So they think a lot of things are phishing or maybe like threat intelligence.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it's a very big thing. Like they will do a lot more due diligence on the recruiter that they're dealing with from a like, are you what you say you are perspective? Do you actually understand me? Do you understand my industry? So you need to be a lot more knowledgeable as a recruiter and
Mm,
understand your client and be able to package that in the right way for a
mm,
cybersecurity individual. And you need to give them an opportunity for them to explain what they do best, because cybersecurity, I think, is an area that hasn't been compartmentalized enough. It's very
it's
broad.
you're right, and it's difficult to compartmentalize, to group
Yes,
it by different categories.
correct.
Uh, every couple years or so, there comes a new not differentiated, but it's grouped
Yes,
based
a
on
new box.
categories.
A new
And
box is created,
yeah,
and every
exactamente.
cybersecurity person
Yeah.
goes and studies the new box. So you get traditional cybersecurity individuals who they prefer to stay in their lane. There are one shape, that's how they like to be. And then you get cybersecurity individuals who are very passionate about becoming multidisciplined, and they like to focus on various areas of their journey. So you need to figure out what areas they are extremely passionate about, like whether it be like red teaming, blue teaming, do they prefer like the risk side of things? Um, and then find that passion of what they enjoy doing the most and align that with what your company needs a solution for, what impact
Mm,
needs to come. Um, so yes, I do believe that handling a cybersecurity individual, whether that be infosec or cybersec, very differently than you'd handle a software engineer, very differently than you'll handle a legal person. So
mm,
you need to be a chameleon as a recruiter and mold yourself to the situation at hand and the call to action that your client is looking for.
mm. You know, it all steers very nicely into relationship-driven recruitment that you mentioned before, as opposed to transactional. When
Correct.
I make a transaction, it's very, how to say it, it's very tempting to do that. It's very tempting to say, okay, I want to make this placement. It's money. I need money. Whereas where we have this relationship-based approach, you are trying to look for what's best fit for the client and the candidate. The question I have is, Storm, does it pay off?
Of course. Uh, it cannot not pay off. If you are looking after your candidates and your clients in the right way, you're always going to win. I mean, I
Mm,
say this to candidates as well. Don't chase money, chase tech. Okay. If you chase tech, the money will come. If you chase the skill, the money will come. It's the same thing with recruitment. Don't chase the placement.
mm,
Chase like career solutions for candidates and chase impact driven candidates for clients. Don't chase, well, these are your 5 candidates, tick box exercise,
okay.
transactional, hire him, move on,
Mm,
you know? When you throw a stone and it jumps, it creates a ripple effect, and your placement creates a ripple effect as well. So
mm, mm,
hence the relationship-based approach. It can't be about you making a placement. If you want that placement more than the candidate does and the client does, you're not going to make it. Nobody's going to be honest with you, and nobody's going to work with you again.
mm. Makes sense. And again, I'm very happy that I'm recording it, you know. Let's go to Sataya. There is a lot, and I really mean it, a lot of recruitment agencies on the market.
Yes,
What is it that makes the client choose you and not their competitors?
I agree with you. There is a lot of agencies, and some of them are phenomenal at what they do, or else they wouldn't be in business still. I think the big thing here is people buy from people they like and people who look after them at the end of the day. So I'm like the face of Sataya, and the Sataya is the face of me. We are like the same human and the same person. So if people want to
Mm,
use Sataya, it's because they come and they want to use someone or myself or anybody within our team.
mm,
Um, it's not just about the brand. We're not one of these giant corporate agencies that you use because of the brand. We are small, in-house, personable individuals who are really passionate about what we do. And I think that comes through in the conversations we have with candidates and clients. And that's what's working for us at the moment. We don't want to be watered down. We
mm.
want people to feel like they have a relationship with us, and we have a relationship with them.
I really like it when you said that people buy from people they like, and that you again have the relationship with your clients. I know that you were studying marketing at your
Yes.
uni, uh, so I think that it helps you with talking to clients. But where do you talk to your clients? How do you find them?
Oh my gosh.
Do you just happen to pop in them at Wells Fargo or at Harrods?
I don't think you ever take your recruitment hat off. Um, I've been at, I don't know, weddings. I've been at a club. I have been
Mm.
at a school function. And
Oh,
always the conversation that comes up is, what do you do? Or,
yeah.
and automatically, I mean, I placed my babysitter at my kids' nursery the other
Ooh.
day. I'm like, you guys will go really nicely together. There you go. So I don't think you ever take your recruitment cap off. You
Mm,
clients come out of the most oddest places these days, and a lot of it is reputational. So a lot of it
mm,
is people referring you, especially once you've done a great job.
mm,
Yes, I slide into people's DMs
mm.
unannounced and
You
cold
got
a
to.
lot. Because that's just the nature of our game. And I think there's a lot of noise in our market, so it's really difficult to stand out, and to not sound like, I don't know, an advertising campaign that has been emailed to 5 million people. um, so yeah, we do what we got to do. We do marketing in various ways. I think a lot of it though is just trying to have a good conversation with somebody and understand like how you can solve a problem, add value, and make an impact.
Mm. Before we go into a little bit deeper into the nature of the business, you mentioned that you placed your kids at nursery,
Yes.
and as 30 seconds before that, you placed that almost never you take your recruitment hat off. So the question that I have is, uh, how you make sure you have enough time for your life, your private life outside work, because probably you love to care about your family, and how do you make sure that you actually enjoy it and have the time for it, and it's not competing with the time where you can make the money.
Yeah. Show me what job doesn't compete with the time to make the money. Like,
Yeah.
if that's why I said in the very beginning, recruitment needs to be a passion driven thing.
Mm,
Um, and if you're doing what you love and you're passionate about what you love, it doesn't always feel like work. I
mm,
don't go, it's 8 o'clock, I'm switching on, it's 5 o'clock, I'm switching off.
mm,
That's not how this game works. I also have things that happen during the day where my kids will maybe phone me or come home and they haven't had a fantastic day. And then I'm like, okay, let me, put my laptop aside for a few like minutes or hours and just look after my kids. So it's about having a good balance, about knowing when that balance is detrimental to either side and being an adult about it. Like, you can have some really great days in recruitment and you need to take advantage of them. And you can have some really like, slow days in recruitment and you also need to take advantage of those.
mm,
Um, but I don't switch off. And I think that also represents a good thing to my kids because it shows them that hard work does pay off and they get what I do. They know what I'm doing from a recruitment perspective. And
mm.
I'm hoping that I'm showing them that like women can work hard and,
A woman
bust
can work
and,
hard. Yeah.
take over the world kind of one placement at a time, so to speak. Um, but yeah, sometimes they're like, "You're always working," and they're
Yeah.
gonna have a moment with me, and I get that, and it's just about explaining to them that sometimes we got to do what we got to do to make the family better,
Mm.
and
Or
then
to have
sometimes we
enough
also
bread.
need to exactly, and then sometimes we also need to switch off. So sometimes you need to show them that it's okay that your phone goes to voicemail and you can phone your client back because your clients also have families and lives, and your candidates also
Mm.
have families and lives. So it's about understanding what's urgent and what's important at that moment.
That makes a lot of sense. I have a dream that if I decide to go into recruitment, I know that it goes up and down, up and
Correct.
down. I just have a dream that if I ever have employees, I want them to work 6 hours a day max. I'm just not sure if it's real likely in this industry, but I'm still figuring it out. Also, I don't want
Yeah.
to spend all my life. Yeah, go on, go ahead.
I don't want to burst your bubble, but I don't think you can be a recruiter for just 6 hours
Mm,
because you always want more. Um,
I
do you hear what I'm saying? So, like, let's say
I
you're
hear
working
you.
a role, like 6 hours. Yes, you can work a role in 6 hours, but what if you spent another hour? Would you find an even better candidate? Would you
Mm,
find somebody that's even more amazing? I don't know.
mm,
Would you maybe speak to your next client? So
mm.
yes, there are some days that you can do 6 hours. Yes, there are some days that you're probably going to do 10, 13 hours.
Mm.
That shouldn't push you away, because remember, you're doing your passion at the end of the day. There are some
Yeah.
days that maybe I feel like I've only worked 2 or 3 hours and haven't achieved much. And there's some days that I work
Mm.
14, 15 hours and I haven't achieved much,
Oh,
and vice versa. You
oh,
know,
okay.
like, so I don't think you can say I only want to work 6 hours a day.
Mm.
I don't think you can, like, you could, right? You could do this job
I
for
mean,
6 hours a day, but then you're only hitting one kind of level, and you need to
I
try
get
and
it.
take advantage of your time as best as possible. I think it's how you
Okay.
utilize that time. I've seen recruiters do a job in 6 hours that some recruiters take 10 hours to do.
Mm. Okay, so I guess that I mean, thank you, Storm. Because of there is lows and highs. I think that I'm aiming to work, I would like my people to work 6 hours on average annually. You know, so if they need to work 10 hours, that's great. They need to, but I don't want them to stay
Yes.
when all there is to do is, I don't know, 1 hour call or something like that.
I think
Uh,
burnout is real in this game.
what? Bonus?
Burnout.
And out. Oh, yes, it is.
Burnout
Yeah,
is huge,
yeah.
in recruitment. And it's
I'm not even working there, and I've been already burned out twice. You know.
yeah, so burnout's big, and it's really important as a recruitment leader, when you have a team underneath you, to
Mm,
identify the signs of burnout, and make sure that you are creating a space that you can tell your recruiters it's okay to switch off tonight and not work extra hours. It's
mm,
okay to have a life today. And because I think a lot of leaders and managers, especially ones that I have like spoken to or dealt with, they always like pushing, like, but can you do more? Where are the marginal gains? Where are the wins? Yes, they can
mm.
always do more, but also if you're telling them that it's okay to have a life, and to switch off, and you know what, tonight you've done a great job, switch off now and go, have a drink at the pub, or go
Yeah.
spend some time with your kids because you deserve it,
Mm.
is really important to managing the lows and the highs.
Sometimes it's also difficult to switch off once you hit this high. You know, once you taste this feel, it's. Uh, I know it's difficult for me. I. Okay. Wow. We are not short on time yet, but we are getting there. So I've got to be picky with my questions. Uh, what challenges lie in front of you, Storm?
Wow. I
Wow.
haven't been asked that in a while.
I.
So when I was thinking about this, I think the only challenges that you face are the ones that or the obstacles you face are the ones you put in front of you, or the ones that you cannot problem solve together. I think
Right.
my challenges and Sataya's challenges are probably pretty similar at this point in time. And that is looking how we grow our business,
Mm,
as well as how I stay with my finger on the pulse. Like, I'm really enjoying being a director, as well as being really hands-on. And a challenge that I'm facing every day is, like, at what time do I put my director's hat to have this overall view? And then at how often do I need to put, like, the recruiter hat on and work roles, and making sure that I've got a really good balance between the two. And as we become bigger, take over more market share,
mm,
it's about looking for people who align with our way of work, because we like to think we're a little bit different. Um,
you are.
thank you. Align with our way of work, still deliver kind of the essence that Sataya is, and keep ourselves on the pulse point of how recruitment's working. So constantly being in touch with trends in the market and what the market needs, and being a
Mm,
little bit more in front of the game than behind the game, so to speak.
mm. How do you stay in touch with the trends? I know, heavy hitting questions, right? I mean, I do
Just,
podcasts. I don't know about you guys. So,
how do you stay
and
on
I,
top of trends? I think it's like staying on top of what's happening, what's working for people and what's not, what's
Mhm,
working for you and what's not. Um,
mhm.
being very aware of how technology is affecting our like entire industry at this point in time, and looking at economic trends as well. So like
Mm,
recessions, how clients are gearing up from an internal talent perspective, how
mm,
agencies are, I don't know, fighting over market share at this point in time. It's just about staying abreast of what your industry is doing. Whether
mm.
that be through social media, through podcasts, through speaking to people at events. It's just about being present within your industry, I think.
That makes a lot of sense. Uh, so to finish it, to end it presently with a nice note, Storm, the target audience for this podcast is people in recruitment for cybersecurity, but also people doing cybersec. Do you have any message? Would you like to tell us something?
I think a big thing in recruitment these days is AI. And I know you've
Mm,
spoken about this in your previous podcasts, but I think, especially in the cybersec space, AI is changing the game for cybersecurity recruiters and
mm,
cybersecurity individuals. Recently, I've seen something that is a platform where you can say, apply to these 10 jobs, here's my CV, and it'll automatically change your CV and your cover letter according
mm.
to each job, not knowing that you can do the role.
Yeah.
I'll give you a great example. I was working a SOC analyst opportunity at the beginning of last year,
Oh.
and a candidate's CV came through to me, and I recognized his name. And I couldn't understand why I recognized his name. And he was a SOC analyst. He had 10 years experience. He had really great qualifications. And
Yeah.
then I went and I looked at previous ad response, and his ad response came up previously. And he was actually an IT technician in the previous ad response.
Oh.
Yes, and all 10 roles were IT technician, IT support, third line support. And then
Mm.
this CV, all the roles, exact same companies, was like SOC analyst. And
Oh.
um,
He's
so I
also
think
wearing many hats.
very many hats. So I think over embellishment is happening quite a lot with AI. And being a great recruiter is being able to identify when a CV is over or under embellished, for that matter. So
Mm,
identifying when a CV looks really, really good, and like being
mm,
able to technically speak to that person and understand them and make sure that from a technical perspective they can do what they say they can do, and
mm,
haven't just like added really nice fluff to their CV.
mm,
Um, but then also having a look at the CVs that don't have all the fluff, and think that maybe this person actually didn't use AI to apply
mm,
and write their
mm.
CV, and
Yeah.
check what is missing on their CV to make them a really good match. And that's where the people side comes in. You cannot use like AI to do a shortlist for you. Understand that people also don't use
Mm,
technology to the best of their ability, or use it overly so. And that's where recruitment comes in. And that's the beauty of our job, is to understand both sides of that fence and find the best candidate for your client in and amongst all the noise.
mm.
So don't overly rely on the tools. Rely also on your knowledge and your insight that you've gained and built over the years, and rely on the people side of recruitment where
I, I
possible.
I really like that you can rely on your heart in recruitment. When I try to rely on my heart in IT risk management, I get reprimanded. So, so
I
I,
think
I really like that.
gut feeling is really important in this game.
Mm,
If you've got a gut feeling about someone, test your gut, check it out, make sure that, so your heart needs to be, you're dealing with people. People change their minds. People have there's so much more to a human than what is on their CV. There is so
yeah.
much more to a job than what is written on a job description. That's why recruiters want to have a conversation with clients to find out what they need, and with candidates to find out what they want to do.
Mm,
So I think the biggest thing that I would say from a recruitment perspective is, don't undervalue or underestimate the power of speaking to people and creating that relationship than just using tech to do the recruitment for you.
mm.
It's really important that you build the other human side of things, um, because you might be missing out on some amazing talent.
Aye. I feel like we are going to put a dot in here. Uh, Before we do that, I would like to say that you are a really kind person, and really nice, and I mean it because you say, yeah, when someone like you call somebody's CV over embellished, whereas a different person would call it fake news or something like that. Storm. Uh,
Thanks.
I feel that we covered a lot. Yet, if you came to this talk with a particular topic in mind, and I just didn't ask you about it, then we still have like 2-3 minutes.
No, I think we're good. If there's anything else you wanted to know, we still have 2-3 minutes. If you want to do a part 2, we can do a part 2 in a couple of
Part
months' time.
two. Look, I would love to do part 2. Like let's make it like that. We finish with part 1. I get you a client or 2, and then we do part 2. Aye.
I'll never say no to a good client or even a good candidate for that matter. I'm always
Aye.
game for a referral. But if you ever need
Mm.
advice about recruitment, I'm really here. I've trained over 1,000 recruiters in my time. I was a trainer at one stage. I don't know if you know that about me. But if you ever want advice or anything like that, please feel free to reach out. Like, really here to help.
Relationship-based recruitment.
Yeah. I think as well, I mean, if you help other recruiters do a better job, like our industry's got such a shoddy or a really bad stereotype to it because there's a lot of
Mm,
recruiters who've done bad by clients and candidates. And if we can
mm,
do better by candidates and clients overall, people won't think we're like sharks and a grudge purchase. They'll actually realize that
mm,
some of us are really nice people to speak to and deal with.
mm.
So
Yeah,
yeah, if you ever want anything or if you need some advice, want to shoot the breeze, you've got me.
I will. And actually, I'm meeting only with. I don't think I'm meeting with sharks, because it's like if I ask someone to devote some part of their life, and this is what we're doing here. You are with me for 1 hour, then he would like reject me, and I wouldn't even talk to him. You know what I'm
What's did
saying?
it for me moment. No, I don't say that recruiters are sharks. I think there's a
Oh no, no.
stereotype in the market that
Hmm.
some recruiters have come off a bit transactional. Um,
You are too kind. Like a great deal of them is transactional,
yeah.
because that it's difficult for them to make the ends meet.
But I
And
also think it's the product of the companies that they join. So there's some companies they
yeah,
chase numbers and you're pushed to chase numbers and they're like you can't have what they call a war and peace conversation with candidates or clients that are overly long to actually get to understand them. Having conversations like you and I are having
mm,
right now would be frowned upon. How is this going to create business and more money? So you are who kind of starts teaching you recruitment in a sense. Like you
mhm,
see what successful recruiters are doing in certain offices, and you become like these bulls in China shops because you see that's working for some people.
mm,
But there
mm.
is another side to this. And I think if you help more recruiters be better recruiters, it'll take that side away a little bit and make it a bit more shinier.
And we will do by your words, ladies and gentlemen.
But
Storm,
thanks for
it
your
was.
time. I've also
Thanks.
appreciated it.
Thank you very much for yours. Aye. Hey, thank you for listening to my talk with Storm. I hope that you enjoyed it at least as much as I did. Let me know what you think about it, if you find anything useful, or if you are just here to, say, Kaspar, you're the worst. Let me know. I'm open to feedback. Take care. Have a great day. Bye bye.
I have a lot of metaphors for recruitment and dating. I just want us to know this. Like, if we
Okay.
ever have to, maybe this is a future podcast. Recruitment is dating
Recruitment is dating.
in the
You know,
professional world.
Actually, once I made a post like this, and then
Yes.
I deleted it because I thought that, dating one thing, recruitment the other.
No, I'm a firm believer recruitment is actually dating. And that's me being honest, because you're actually going out on all these little blind dates with these clients when you're going for interviews as a candidate, and you need to assess, like, does this person also want kids because you want kids kind of moment, or do they not want kids because you don't want kids? And that's how you assess whether or not they're the right fit for you, the culture fit questions that you ask.
Yeah.
So recruitment is very much like dating.
It is.
Accepting a job is like getting engaged. Starting the job is getting married, and you get divorced when you resign.
I was looking for a nice comeback, but I couldn't find any.
But it's the truth. And like when you're applying, it's Tinder. You're swiping right and swiping left, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. So I use it with all candidates. I'm like, listen, you're not getting married. It's not like you're a tree and you're planting yourself there for the rest of your life. Go and interview with the people and have a date and see if you like them. If you don't, we break up, no harm, no foul, and people move on. So if you ever want to do recruitment as dating conversation, I'm your girl.